the use of the annual county assessment, therefore by the Property Valuation Administration of Grant County, and levying an ad valorem tax, therefore for the city purpose, and provide for the payment and collection of such taxes and penalties and interest thereon, and describing the purpose of which such taxes so collected shall be appropriate in use pursuant to KRS 92.520, KRS 132.285, and KRS 134.420, be it ordained by the City of Crittenden and Grant County, Kentucky as follows. Section 1, Property Assessment of the Use of PVA Assessments. The City of Crittenden hereby provides for the assessment of all real and personal property within the corporate limits of Crittenden, the City of Crittenden, by the use of the annual assessment thereof by the Property Valuation Administrator of Grant County, Kentucky. Section 2, Real Property Ad valorem Tax Levy. The City Council of the City of Crittenden does hereby levy an ad valorem tax at the rate of $0.203 upon each $100 of assessment of value of all real property subject to ad valorem taxation by the City of Crittenden for the year 2019. Section 3, Personal Property Ad valorem Tax Levy. The City Council of the City of Crittenden does hereby levy an ad valorem tax at the rate of $0.203 upon each $100 of assessment value of all personal property subject to ad valorem taxation by the City of Crittenden for the year 2019. Section 4, Discount in delinquent taxes. The taxes imposed hereby shall be due and payable on or before the first day of January 2020. At the office of the City Clerk of the City of Crittenden, 117 South Main Street, Crittenden, Kentucky 41030, and shall be delinquent on January 2nd, 2020. If paid prior to November 15, 2019, there shall be a 2% discount. After January 1st, 2020, there shall be added thereto an interest penalty at the rate of 5% per annum from January 2nd, 2020 until March 1st, 2020. There shall be a penalty of 10% until paid, plus the cost of collecting, including court costs and attorney fees. Section 5, Liens for Taxes. The City of Crittenden has claimed a lien upon the property assessed pursuant to the terms therefore for taxes and levied thereon pursuant to the terms thereof, and for all penalties, interest, fees, commission, charges, and other expenses, including court costs and attorney fees, incurred by reason of delinquency and payment of the tax bill, therefore, or in the process of collecting it, and such lien has priority over all other obligations or liabilities for which the property is liable. Section 6, Purpose of Tax. The tax levied and collected pursuant to the terms hereof shall be deposited in the general fund of the City of Crittenden and appropriated and used for the general operating expenses for the City of Crittenden for the fiscal year. Section 7, Provisions severely. The invalidity of any provision of this ordinance shall not affect the validation of any other provision. Section 8, Conflict Ordinance Repeal. All ordinance or parts of ordinance in conflict with the provision of this ordinance are hereby repealed to extent of such conflict. First reading September 3rd, 2019. Second reading October 1st, 2019.
May I ask a two-part question?
Go ahead, Jim.
And this is for education purposes. What is the procedure, process, or tools for determining the .203, and what was it last year?
That is the tax rate from last year.
So it's the same as last year?
Yes.
Okay. How is that determined? I'm just curious. What's the tool, the process, the procedure for coming up with the .203? Is that just to make things balanced?
That is just what we based our budget on, was the 203, so it hadn't changed at all.
Okay,
That's
so you
just what they've
take
done.
your budget and you divide that by the number of properties times their value from the PBA, and that comes up with the .203.
Well, not always, because we don't get the assessment from the PBA. I did not get that until the end of August.
I recommend that we take a look at this a little bit deeper with the budget that Crittenden has and the shape that we're in, possible reducing that number for the citizens of Crittenden. I know that they just passed with the school board to up the property taxes for the county. Maybe council can take a look at this number and see if we can't do something for the citizens of Crittenden and the property owners.
I'm just curious, the math. So basically we back into that number based on receipts versus the value of the property. Okay, good. I'm cool with that.
Is that something that council would like to take a further look at to possibly do for the citizens?
If we can do it without touching the CDs, yes.
I just think we're in good shape.
One question that we have, which I'm not aware of how this process works, does the state offer up any suggestions as to a rate?
Well, we have bottom line services. They do a real property tax calculation, and I had them figuring the compensating rate. We can drop the taxes down to, instead of the .203, we could drop them down to 1.85, and it would still generate more revenue than what was in the budget. I believe in the budget we had $275,000. With the .185, that would generate $315,666.
I really think we should consider that. I think the mayor's got a good point, and we have a lot of money in our kitty, and we need to be fiscally responsible and to the citizens of Crittenden. Just my opinion.
Is there any way we could just play it safe and go ahead and change it now to a .019, just to come up from your bottom number, just to give us a little cushion?
We had the compensating rate would be .185.
0.18.
Yeah.
Okay, how about 0.190, just to give it that little.
So can you explain a little bit about what the compensating rate is? What?
Alex, can you explain that a little bit better than I can explain it?
It's hot potato.
This is the first time we set a tax rate.
It's
so-
to keep you on budget. So
Right.
what happens is you have the rate that you need in order to be able to fulfill the services that you sign up for. I can tell you, I've never had a problem. First time in 19 years I've ever heard anyone even discussing lowering the tax rate. So it's refreshing to see. Kudos to you and certainly to the budget and what you all have done. It's usually the more they make, they find ways to spend it. In this case, you guys seem to be rolling it back, which is encouraging. That's news, good news. But the answer is that when you look at that the compensated rate, it's really tied to what your past budget is and what your forecast budget is to be able to meet that need. And it looks like you guys, it's so efficient. This city is so efficient that you're able to give back to people. I don't know exactly how much that is on a $100,000 home, but I'm sure Megan can do the math and tell us. I mean, it's real money to people. So before you guys talk about it, if you reach a consensus and say, hey, we want to do more with less, without hearing what you're saying, without dipping into the reserves, but you have a general budget reserve, not the CD reserve. I think your general budget's like 300,000 or somewhere. So I mean, you wouldn't even be close to that. So you've got plenty from a reserve. So that's what the compensating rate is to make sure you can fund, because what happens is cities go in debt trying to pay for the services, and that's where you get in trouble.
And the one question I had was, where does that compensate, what office from the state does that compensating rate come from?
I can't answer that.
I've seen many of them over the years. The dry ridge, when I was on the school board at Williamstown, I'm not exactly sure who generates it, but like Alex says, it's a great way to find out the minimum you need to cover your budget.
what, did we get a letter or something?
No, we have bottom line services, they're the accounting to help prepare for the audit and all that. They're the ones that calculate this, and they confer with the auditor's office, our auditor's office.
Okay,
I'm
that's
assuming
what I
that's
was
who
trying
helps
to
set
figure out the outcomes about.
Before we propose a number, and I love lower taxes, that's great, but let's do some mental gymnastics on what some surprise costs might be that might affect that number. You know, things that would make me nervous would be, what's our confidence level in getting the second grant to finish all the work at Oakwood versus that being expense? I think we've got about half of it, right? So the other half is at risk, right?
We're still
I'm
waiting.
kind of looking over at you for a
Well,
nod, but that,
we're still waiting on that phone call.
okay, so we don't have that yet, so that could be $70,000. What else have we got that could be an expense that could bite us from lack of coverage standpoint?
Well, and another question that I have that goes along with that, can you change the rate in the middle of the year? It has to go for the whole year?
You're stuck.
Megan, when would you need to know before the tax bills get printed?
We need to know as soon as possible, because they have to go out by October the 15th, so they need to start getting printed and all that.
Everybody's already set their rates. We need to get on that for obvious reasons.
Can you do a quick figure of what the difference between
Like, if you
2
had
and 3 and
if you had
190
$100,000, sorry. If you owned a home that was assessed at $100,000, your tax bill would have been $230. Well, if you go with the compensating rate of 0.185, your tax bill is gonna be $185 instead of $203.
Big difference. To the individual.
So our biggest risk is probably Oakwood.
I guess my question would be more the entire sum coming in. Could you do a quickie, just, we won't hold you to a number that would be a difference?
Yes, you do. And one other thing to consider when you're making a policy decision is your insurance taxes that you're gonna collect are gonna go up, right? Because the insurance man are always charging more, and they're only increasing, and they just found another reason to charge it because of a storm that's 2,000 miles away. But it will go up, and with that, the revenue will actually increase. So if you look at your insurance premium tax that you've collected, it's exceeding your property tax, which is, it's a hidden tax, but it's still, you know, you're gonna
Oh,
bring in.
you're saying in sum total it exceeds it?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, not on an individual basis, because
Sum total.
everyone pays that has insurance versus property owner.
You got it. You
Okay.
got it. So everybody has a car, everybody
Yeah.
has,
We are looking at with the figures from the bottom line services and, you know, the auditors to check these too. We were looking at $336,692 in revenue if we went with the 0.203. Then if you go with the compensating rate of 0.185, it would be $315,666. So you're looking about $21,000 difference.
That's less than
$21,000
noise.
difference, I think we should definitely consider bringing it down.
21,000 is lost in the noise and the accuracy of this estimate. So I think we can do it. Especially on Alex's bill.
Well, that's why we went with the 190 to cover
Now, my numbers were the one.
You were 185.
I was
You were at
0.185, yes.
Are you comfortable with that number? Or would you want to put a cushion in with it?
I'm-
I like saving money, I think the 190. We're coming down, but we're getting cushion, because Judge Wright Oakbrook's getting ready to come out and show its ugly teeth.
I suppose we change to 1.19.
So can that be done now and we just have another reading and?
Just reading that, just make the amendment to it,
and
reading
go
is the
ahead
first reading.
and- Okay, okay.
So
Fantastic.
Sounds great.
the motion was .190.
0.19.
I second that.
So Todd made the motion. And Joe seconded the motion. Danny,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
Arlene,
Yes.
Paula is absent. Joe,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Alex, do I need to reread the whole thing, or can I just substitute the amounts in, or?
That, it's not a material change because everything else is consistent except for the number.
okay.
And when the number is material, we all know that it's been reflected in the ordinance when you read it, but that's what the intent of it is. So you're good.
Okay.
Yeah. And for the record, you may be the only jurisdiction in Northern Kentucky